Where I grew up in Bath, I went to a private school, an amazing school, Kingswood School in Bath. Absolutely loved it. Very good sports school, so I grew up playing rugby, field hockey, cricket. And then when I was in year 7, there was an older American boy in year 13 who was a sprinter, a really fast sprinter, and he saw me just playing or running at lunchtime. He was like, oh, you should join the athletics team. So I was like, cool, I'll give it a shot. And then, yeah, it turns out I was pretty fast. And then they're like, right, you need to go to like the regional trials. And then I ended up winning that. And then I ended up doing a hurdles race just for fun. And it turns out I was even better at sprint hurdles than just normal sprinting. So I was a 110 meter sprint hurdler when I was younger. And then I changed to 400 meter hurdles. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started and just kind of rose through the ranks as a teenager. By like about 17, 18, I was kind of one of the fastest in the world for my discipline, which was amazing. And then I'm only 5'8", so when I got to 18, the size of the hurdles increased. And so me and my coaches made a decision, right, your height is probably going to be a problem for you now. So do we stick at sprint hurdles, kind of just do it for fun, you'll still be a national level athlete, or do we try and do the 400 meter hurdles, which is a longer distance, shorter hurdles, and maybe you can like push that international scene a little bit. Didn't end up working out that way, unfortunately. I was still very good. I still got to national level, won multiple national medals, but I never got an international best at senior level. I did at junior level for the sprint hurdles, but never at senior level. It was really tough because athletics is an amateur sport. So at 23, I had some sponsorship, I was making some money, but I was getting a lot of pressure from my family to then get a graduate job. I'd have my Bachelor of Sciences, I had my Masters, and I wasn't using it. I was still trained to get as good at athletics, and I wasn't really making the progress I wanted. There was no money in athletics. If I was that level at football, I'd be making hundreds of thousands a week, but I wasn't. I chose the wrong sport. It was tough. There was a lot of alcohol, there was a lot of drugs, there was smoking, and I just got very, very unfit and very, very unhealthy. I was kind of a shadow of my former self. I was making good money, but that's, it was just not fulfilling and it was not rewarding for me. So I actually made a really on-the-spot decision. I went on holiday with a group of friends and I came back Sunday evening. I was like, why am I doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. So I was like, I'm going to hand in my notice, I'm going to quit. So I went in the next day, I told my manager, and he thought I was joking. He laughed. He was like, haha, you're joking. I was like, no, I'm handing in my notice officially. I can't do this anymore. This is it's unhealthy for me psychologically, physically. So I ended up leaving London. That very week, I moved back to Bath. I went back to my old room at home. I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm coming home.
How exactly are you feeling now after that workout?
Feel great. My body was so beat up yesterday. So doing a workout like that today, which is kind of like short and sharp, nothing too heavy, nothing too intense, just prepping me for this weekend, a little bit of a deload. So yeah, I feel great, feel good.
Actually, speaking of the deload, do you ever get worried about training and I don't know what's coming up this weekend, so I'm just gonna do muscle ups like before? Or are you not worried that might burn you out for the upcoming weekend?
No, well, where I'm at now, the amount of volume that I've accumulated over the years, I know how much work I can do before it's too much. And it's all about knowing your body, listening to your body, and also past experiences of your training week, right? I know if I do a certain amount of volume, like GHD sit-ups, I know if I hit 120 GHD sit-ups in a session, I'm gonna have sore abs. I know if I hit 80, I'm gonna feel fine. And that is just through experience, right? And knowing what my body's capable of. So it's just the fitness journey that we're all on, and just, through, I've been competing in this sport 5-6 years. It's just experience. Yeah.
Sorry, which open workout?
So not necessarily the open in particular, but just it was being aware of the open. That was a really reduced volume session. That was maybe 60% of what I usually would do, because on the weekend I had a big simulation weekend to prep for the quarterfinals, which is the stage after the open.
Okay. Wait, so you say these workouts are basically you splitting up the open into little bits, right?
So if I knew what 23.3 was, the Open coming out this weekend, I would do a workout to prep for that. But because I have no idea what it is yet, because it's released on Friday, I'm basically doing movements that we think might come up in the Open. So like the kettlebell deadlifts hasn't come up yet, box jumps, and most of those barbell movements. Yeah, so it's kind of like preemptively attacking the movements that I think might come. They knew kind of the situation I was in. I was incredibly happy in London, so they were happy to have me home and find a passion in life again, which I'm so grateful for my parents for. And they were very understanding, and that was when it took 2 years just being at home, working through a few different startups, doing some sales and marketing, still not doing any form of exercise. Maybe I go to the gym and do some bodybuilding just for some fitness, but I really didn't do anything until I started CrossFit again at the end of 2017 when I moved to Thailand. Yeah, so the opportunity came to work in the international school in Jeju in South Korea. Alice and I, we just jumped at the opportunity to get out of Bath. Like I said, I was working for like my friend's startup. So he was happy for me to go. So yeah, we just packed everything, moved to Jeju in South Korea. And that was actually the turning point in my journey into CrossFit. That's when I could really get away from all the distractions back at home, refocus on what I really enjoyed in life. Like I was passionate about teaching kids, which was incredible. And I was passionate about getting fit and healthy again and getting my life back on track. So that was 2017, and that was the start of this journey that I'm on now, which I'm incredibly thankful for.
Why do you always like to push yourself? You know, like from a young age, athletics, so many sacrifices. I'm sure probably, you know, not a lot of friends, you know, like when you do sports, right? Like also as someone who did sports growing up, you sacrifice going out with your friends, you know, you sacrifice going to do normal people things, you know, you have to go practice. It's so tough.
It is tough.
What's that, you know, and again, going to Jeju, like you told me, your friends in Bath are just comfortable being in Bath. Why do you feel like you need to always push yourself?
I think at that time, I just wanted to find something that I was proud of myself again. Like something that I'd be proud of myself again, like with. So athletics, I kind of probably had this inflated ego or self-worth when I was an athlete. And I was young at the time, but now it's completely different. At that point, I just wasn't happy with anything that I was doing. Nothing was rewarding. So I was like, right, let's find something that, you know, you're good at. And I guess also, it's almost like the fear of not being good enough. And I never want to have that feeling again. I mean, I really felt that in London. I was like, what is the point? I was doing a job which is very respectable, right? But I wasn't proud of myself, so I needed to get myself out of that and do something again where I can, you know, really give myself a little pat on the back, and I guess just trying to be the best version of myself as I can, and that is my motivation now. And I feel like CrossFit does this for me, especially physically, but also psychologically. Yeah, you have so many negative thoughts in your head all the time, like, oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh, am I gonna be able to do this? Like, oh my gosh, this is 30 minutes long. But you just kind of got to get rid of those demons out of your head and just go for it. Like before, obviously, I'm not very good on, relatively, I'm a smaller athlete. So the machines are a problem for me. A few years ago, my mindset would be, oh, rowing is coming up. I'm gonna lose this workout. That would be my mentality. Now, I can't have that. You can't think like that. It's like, right, rowing is coming up. I'm going to attack this as hard as I can. So a few years ago, by thinking, all right, I'm going to lose, that's what happened. I would lose. But now, going with a different mentality, right, if I can do this, I put myself in a lot better position against those bigger guys.
So it's funny, interesting right now because, you know, we're at training ground and I believe, was this the first CrossFit gym you went to?
Yeah.
You work here?
So this was the CrossFit gym that I pinpointed when I was in Korea. I was like, I looked at all of the CrossFit gyms in Bangkok at the time. There were only a handful, there are loads now. So at the time, there were only like 3 or 4, I think. And so I was like, I saw this huge warehouse of a gym. I saw Ron, the owner, talking about CrossFit. He was so passionate about it. I was just like, this is the gym I want to train at. And I still remember vividly saying to Alice, I was like, this is the gym I'm going to train at. And I was like, I looked up the popular areas around. I was like, we are going to live in Prakanong and we're going to train here. And I just And it came to fruition. And even up to even last year, CrossFit was just a hobby. It was just something I did for fun at the end of the day. My job was an international school teacher. I was a sports science teacher. And that was what I did, and CrossFit was what I did for fun. Just as important as teaching, but I was so lucky that each year I was like, right, if I get better, if I just tighten my nutrition up, tighten my recovery up, change my training volume, go with my coach that I'm with now, like if I make all these decisions and I get better, I can keep making decisions that make me get better at CrossFit basically. And I've been so lucky that last year I went from 128th or something in Asia, which was still very good, all the way to 50th in Asia last year. I think I was 56th or 58th, I can't remember. And that was such a big jump with relatively little change in my lifestyle. I was still working really hard as a teacher. I'm like, right, if I can do this with a full-time job, and I'm incredibly passionate about it already, what will happen if I stop teaching and I go full-time CrossFit? How much better can I get? And so I was just like, I'm 30 years old now. I haven't got many more years left for me to do this as a young male, as a young adult. So I was like, right, I'm going to speak to my school and I'm going to say, listen, I'm really sorry, but I've got this passion that I really want to pursue in life. I haven't got long left to do it. And then, I quit teaching for this last year.
I don't know. First time or second time? Which one were you most proud of?
First time.
First time.
First time, 100%. Right. Because it was like 3 to 4 years in the making. I worked so hard for this. I think the first time I won it, I repeated the workouts 2 or 3 times each time. I was just so proud I finally got there. Like these athletes that were better than me for a long time, especially in open style workouts, I was now better than them. And beating them didn't give me any satisfaction actually. It was the fact that I was now doing what I believed I could do. All my motivation is intrinsic. So like I said before, I just want to get as good as I can get. Everything else is a bonus. And so it was a very big bonus, but it was still a goal that me and my coach talked about achieving. And finally I'd done it. So yeah, definitely the first time. So I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel that pressure occasionally. And like when I looked at the leaderboard last week, for example, I didn't execute the workout very well at all. And I said to my coach, I want to redo this one. And he was like, no, it does not matter. The score's good enough, move on. So I'd be lying if I said it does not affect me. However, always in the back of my mind, I just want to do, as long as I do as well as I can do, I'm proud of myself. If I give 100% effort, I've already got 100% victory for myself. Yeah, this pressure, it does come, but I just kind of push it to one side mostly. And so as long as I do as well as I know I can do, I'm happy.
What's the difference between Simon of 2023 season compared to Simon of 2022 season?
Oh, the difference has actually been quite staggering. Just an extra year to work on your weaknesses is huge. Like people don't realize how hard CrossFit is. Like you have to train so hard just to be average at CrossFit. Like when I started, when I was in Jeju, a little bit, I was ignorant. I was like, right, I'm gonna be as good as Matt Fraser in like 2 years. I had no idea how hard CrossFit was, right? I remember the first workout that I did, it was like 100 snatches for time, and every minute it was like 5 burpees or something. It was like a 40-minute workout. And I went RX, which was like 60 kilograms snatch. I remember I just finished in the time limit, but I couldn't walk. I literally could not walk afterwards. So CrossFit is bloody hard, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at. So just an extra year to work on my weaknesses makes a huge difference. But also quitting my job and putting more time into something that makes me really happy and truly passionate about has made a huge difference this year. Less stress, better recovery. I'm more on top of my nutrition. My training is more consistent in terms of my timings. So all of those little things have culminated in a huge difference.
Going into this season though, you must be really, really motivated. You got all these on check, huh?
Yeah, so happy. I'm feeling fitter, than ever. And I just really can't wait for the next 2 to 3 years and you know what I can achieve. So yeah, excited.
A lot of sacrifice, you know, doing what you do. So is there anything like, you know, you wish that, okay, if, you know, I finish CrossFit, I want to travel more, or I want to spend more time with Alice, for example. You know, I want to do, is there that kind of inkling thought in your mind?
Sure, at the moment, no. Like you say sacrifice, at the moment I don't feel like anything is a sacrifice right now. Before it would have been 100%, but now I'm just so focused on really getting as good as I can be in this sport and getting as good as I can as a CrossFit coach as well. Nothing feels like a sacrifice right now. And I guess that's like another message for people. It's like if you kind of chase your passion, your dreams, it won't feel like a sacrifice if you're doing something that you love, right?